Welcome to the session on identifying information required for an appeal. Essentially, this information is the same for each payer. It's just that the format is slightly different. So we're going to look at a few different examples, and we're going to start with a Medicare administrative contractor called First Coast Service Options. Now, we've chosen area of Florida and Part B and selected a first level redetermination. If you have been to the session about Medicare levels of redeterminations, you'll recall that there are up to 5 levels. But as we see here, there are 4 available through our administrative contractors, and we also have our overpayment forms here. And luckily, we also have the ability to make corrections to minor errors. This is usually typographical errors outside of the appeals process. Now, we have selected the Florida link to the PDF, which we will select now. Once we've selected that PDF, you start to see beneficiary information needs to be filled out. Just scroll down here so we can see the whole page. The ID number, the date of service, the particular codes involved, the name of the claimant, signature of the claimant, diagnostic codes, or any other information which was submitted incorrectly. Then this area is the real critical component. This is the explanation of why we were dissatisfied with the original claim determination. So you can see here, we are either appealing an overpayment request, appealing that the service was indeed medically necessary, appeal that the service was denied as a duplicate incorrectly. That is to say that we never got paid for it in the first place. So to deny it as a duplicate was improper. To deny that the service was not overutilized. So sometimes we get denials which say a patient has used more of a particular service than is allowable under their benefit plan. So we need to be cognizant of that. And sometimes those numbers get sort of lost in the back and forth. So we can appeal on that case. Or the service was denied, indicating there was other insurance involvement, meaning that the patient had a different primary insurance than the one we submitted. What we would do then is apply additional narrative here, explaining exactly why we think what we think, attaching all additional pertinent document. Now, anytime we appeal a claim, we have to have collateral or backup material to essentially validate why we believe that claim was improperly paid or improperly denied. This will always be the case. Now, this is a paper form, so you can see that we can print it or reset it, etc. There are ways to submit this electronically as well. Now, you've seen for Medicare, administrative contractor for Florida. We're going to move on to a commercial carrier, which you may be familiar with, called United Healthcare. All right, so we have here the United Healthcare paper request form. Note that this is not for formal appeals or disputes. Now, commercial carriers have a slightly different terminology for formal appeals versus reconsiderations. A reconsideration is a second look at a claim or adding additional information that may not have been available in the first submission of the claim. But again, we're looking at essentially the same submitted information. We have the member ID information. We have the submitter ID information. Then we have the reason for the request. Okay, again, previously denied, previously denied, previously denied. Now, this one, coordination of benefits information, is different wording, but same meaning as the Medicare one that indicated that there was another insurance involved. That's coordination of benefits. Resubmission of a corrected claim here is the opportunity to correct typographical errors. Resubmission of a claim with bundled services. So this would be when something is denied improperly. Okay. Medical record submission. Now this is when there's been an indication that additional records are needed to validate the claim that was submitted. This might be in the case of prepayment audits, for example. And then if you have other reasons, you would explain them here. Interestingly, United is asking you what you're expecting from United regarding this reconsideration, including the dollar amount. What do you want from them as an end result? So then what you're required to submit is either the EOB or remittance advice, claim form, which would be the paper CMS 1500, only if you're submitting a corrected claim, and any other required attachments as listed above. So if you're addressing collateral material, like something was denied or closed needing additional information or denied for coordination of benefits, then you would include eligibility documents from other payers saying that that patient was not in fact eligible from that other payer, or the additional information that is required. Lastly, we're going to look at a sample letter that was written in sort of a general form to address to payers generally. This is a sample letter addressing denied claims, which comes from Pfizer. And once again, you will see all the same information, essentially who submitted it, the type of patient, coverage, the policy number, the group number, whatever the medication is or the codes involved, what type of request you're actually submitting, and then why it was denied. Okay, this is essentially all the same material. You are also including relevant collateral material here. So whatever that collateral material is, you're including it here. Now these pink bits are examples of letters of medical necessity, copies of the explanation of benefits, with the understanding that you would use this information as it's appropriate in your particular instance. So hopefully what you've seen is that different carriers or payers will have different methods of submitting appeals, but essentially all the same information is required. It is the patient information, the provider information, the reason for the submission, and then any collateral or backup material to validate the appeal. Thank you very much for attending this session. I hope it has been useful.